Welcome to another video on the Scum Villain Voice Acting Guide, my deep dive on how I've been voicing the characters in my SVSSS audiobook. There are spoilers in this video, so go ahead and listen to the audiobook first and then come back. I'm not going anywhere, so I'll be patiently waiting for you. We just finished the Bamboo Branch poem extra, so I have to start by covering Zhuzi Lang. Oh man, I literally love Zhuzi Lang, my little snake boy, so much. If I could choose one MXTX character that I wish to change the ending for, even though there are a lot of really sad characters, I would choose Zhuzi Lang through and through. He's just so precious and his heart is so full of love. Zhuzi Lang is a baby through and through, and so my personal creative take on him is that he has a lisp. Immortal Masterchen. I like to think that when Zhuzi Lang got turned into human form, it took him a while to grasp the human language, and he still drags out his S syllable on some words. So to overcome that, he pronounces any S before a hard consonant as a SH. So for example, if he didn't have a lisp, he'd sound like Immortal Masterchen. And I'd like to think that it's really inconvenient when he does that. So I headcanon that Zhuzi Lang is secretly a bit ashamed of his snake tongue coming through, so he tries to mitigate that as much as possible. I think it's easy to forget that Zhuzi Lang is actually a demon general, and the way he talks to his subordinates is completely different to how he addresses Shen Qingqiu and Tianlang-Jun. You came at just the right time. Help me find something. So this line is from chapter 64 in my playlist, just as he was about to go in and heal Shen Qingqiu's wounds. And I like to think that Zhuzi Lang cutifies his voice subconsciously for Shen Qingqiu and Tianlang-Jun. You know, like some girlies who pitch up their voice while they're on the phone talking to their crush? He can't help but be baby. And I love that for him. Now moving on to Tianlang-Jun. Tianlang-Jun's voice is low and very lyrical. He always sounds like he's reciting a line from a poem or a play. He kind of reminds me of those singer classmates that I had in school, where they were always told that they had a good voice, so they can't stop themselves from singing in an echoey hallway. That's literally Tianlang-Jun. Like, if he was in an echoey cathedral, he would be singing and reciting and pretending like he's performing all the time. He tends to draw out his words like this. Peak Lord Shen, do as you please. I honestly reckon he has a good National Geographic voice. Also, he has a really clear way of speaking. I don't know how to explain it. I discovered that for Peak Lord Shen, the feelings he nurses are especially... Do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, especially. He will kind of almost sound like he's opening up his vowels every time he speaks, as if he was singing. And here is a bit of a bonus character, Luo Binghe's mother. I also revealed her voice in my latest extras upload. In my head, she always had some sort of an accent, so I settled down on this sort of Irish-inspired one. In my head, she tends to have a very light way of pronouncing her consonants and has some very interesting inflections. If this is a matter of drawing her sword, this humble one will consider it. She does roll her R's, but in a circular way, and she pauses on words that we normally gloss over. I also headcanon that Tianlang-Jun fell for her not only for her looks, but for her voice. Hey, we're talking about the woman who single-handedly made Tianlang-Jun the heavenly demon into a simping or Georgian, so she's got to have a pretty distinguished voice. Anyways, so that's a wrap on Tianlang-Jun, Zhuzi Lang, and Su Xiyan. Now moving on to my two female favorites, Yingying and Hualing. So, within Proud Immortal Demon Way, they were both the brainless wives of Luo Binghe's harem, but in Scum Villain, we are blessed to witness them grow into incredibly interesting and complex characters. Yingying's voice, for the most part, is modeled off of her voice in the SVSSS Donghua. Ning is a very affectionate person, so she calls Luo Binghe and Shen Qingqiu with a lot of love and worry. Luo, Shi Zun. Because the words Yingying literally means child, she has the highest pitched voice out of the female characters. When she cries, she sounds quite whiny. 师尊, Yingying is so scared. Yingying's voice as a teenager, especially during the Skinner Demon arc. She cries so easily, and just like a baby, she has no filter when it comes to expressing her emotions. Yingying then goes through quite the transformation post-Abyss. Although I've kept her voice in the same high register, post-Abyss Yingying actually holds back her tears and turns away when she's on the verge of breakdown. Like, if we look at the end of the Jinglan City arc, in chapter 43 part 2, where she is telling Luo Binghe that he can no longer call him Shizun, pre-Abyss Yingying would have expressed this line like, I ask you that you stop calling him Shizun. Post-Abyss Yingying says, I ask that you stop calling him Shizun. Like, oh man, it's breaking her heart to say that to Luo Binghe. I added that bit of quiver in her voice, but the decisiveness is there. Ning Yingying is a lot more eloquent when she speaks post-Abyss too, especially when she's arguing. What's your justification for coming up and cursing us out? First saying that you want the whole Qingjing Peak to kneel to you, Keto, and apologize for our offenses, then saying that our entire Changqiu Mountain should be buried together? Exactly who is being preposterous? Huaya City is not Huanghua Palace's backyard, or are you saying that the entire world is your house? I'd like to think that she picked up Shen Qinqiu's habit of pitching the ends of sentences down even when she's asking questions. This Ning Yingying shows her growth by changing the way she talks to be more grounded. You can hear how much faster she's talking and how decisive she is with her words. There is no whining or bullshitting around anymore. Oh, I just love the growth of Ning Yingying. Moving on to Hualing. As a demon saintess, I don't think she can help the fact that every sentence that comes out of her mouth sounds like she's flirting. So I tried my best to reflect that. This must be the renowned Xiuya sword. Senior Shen Qinqiu. As expected, hearsay can't compare to seeing the real person. Linger is young and unable to manage her subordinates. Hualing, in my opinion, is such a tragic character because post-Abyss and 5-year time skip, she has now become Luo Binghe's slave, which is worse than her proud immortal demon Wei life. Compared to her previous merciless self, she's now literally always buttering up to Luo Binghe in order to survive. The way she says, "My lord," there's so much fear in the way she addresses Luo Binghe, even though she still sounds quite flirty. There's a level of panic that comes with every sentence now. I emphasize that with a little quiver in her voice or with a tiny gasp at the end of the words or precede them with a nervous laugh. This is more of a personal interpretation, but the way Hualing expresses her anger is also different now. Teenage Hualing is kind of this deadly anger. She's royalty. Even if her gauzy cloth exploded and left her in her birthday suit for everyone to see, she still has dignity in her voice. I underestimated you today, but we will definitely meet again in the future. Let's go. Post-time skip Hualing, when she's angry, has a hint of flirt, but sounds much more explosive. That thing on your face, don't you ever take it off? Oh, I see. Could it be that your face is so ugly that you dare not to take it off out of shame? In my understanding, her hatred for humans have compounded because they killed so many of her demon underlings, so she's not going to even pretend to toy with them. She cuts straight to the point. And that's it for this video. As you can see, I love Scumvillain a normal amount. Definitely let me know if you're enjoying these analytical breakdowns of these voices and would like to see more. And definitely let me know which voices or characters you'd like me to feature next. Also, I have a Ko-Fi, so if you like what I do, please shout me a bubble tea or a hot chocolate. I'd appreciate that so much, and I'll see you in the next chapter's recording. Bye bye!